I'm just here to bring creatives together, to sit them down, and to talk out important issues and problems that we all have. So hopefully I can grow from it, the person on my show can grow from it, and hopefully you can grow from it. Here we go. This episode is all about perfectionism, posting on social media, posting on your portfolio, not worrying about it being perfect, how being perfect is going to damage you, and how it's going to destroy any chance that you have of being successful on the social media. So let's see what Eric has to say in this episode of Super Strategy Time with Eric from 2717 Design. Really? What are you doing? I wish I could empathize with you more and remember what it was like for me back then. But I feel like that point in my life was very short, and I feel bad for that sometimes. I feel like I'm cheating somebody sometimes when I know guys like you exist who are really, they really throw themselves into it. It's just like a business thing.
Yeah.
You can't be this heartless businessman and then this designer who cares about everything. There has to be some sort of balance, and that's really hard.
Yeah,
and I think I'm starting to go more towards the business side, but big time, actually. I'll definitely admit that. If a client was I put all this thought into it and had all these expectations on it, and then I presented and they're like, oh yeah, that's cool, but let's make it pink, dude. Blue's not working. I'd just be like, what the and I just my attitude would just be I'm pissed. I don't even want to hear what you're saying anymore. And at that point, I'm not even being valuable anymore. I'm just thinking about myself and being super.
Do you still run into that? For example, that kind of
that
stuff. Where
feeling?
the client would be like, that particular example where it's I like this design, but
yes,
I don't like this blue that you chose. Can you choose and then they'll choose red or something.
Yes. 1,000 times yes. Putting it let's put the word on top and let's put it on the bottom, or let's put it sideways. And I was just like, oh no. And I'm just like, hey, and I just didn't say anything. I was like, dude, it was good. It was done. And then you started second guessing it. And I'm just like, yeah, point of the whole logo is to be small in the corner of your site. So making it taller is not really going to work. But we can make it work if you want, but I wouldn't recommend it. And he's just like, oh, okay. Man, a couple years ago, my neck would have locked in position from stress. It definitely still happens to me, but at the end of the day, I all this future stuff has taught me to just try to make the client happy, try to just bring the value where they think it is. And that, in the end of the day, that's what it's all about. Yeah, I'm not super proud of that thing at all. How could I be? I feel bad. Maybe I should have hired someone like you who you get it all perfect and there's more meaning in it, and it's really well thought out, and it probably would have brought more value to the client, and it probably would have been a better product,
Yeah,
so
but there has to be the cutoff point too, because I'm totally too far in the other way where you just I'll start working on it, and then in the beginning of the project, I'll be like, oh, there's a set amount of hours that I should spend on this, right? And then I'll start working on it, and then I'll come up with something like what you said, it's okay or pretty decent, and it's the client would probably like it. But then I'll sit there and look at it and be like, I hate this. And I came up with this ridiculous thing that I thought was working really well for me in the beginning of last year, where I said, well, it worked when I was at the firm, because if you're OCD and your level of detail or your standard of quality is higher than the art directors, then you really never run into any issues, right? Mm-hmm. So my boss really liked me because of that. But I basically told myself, like, if I don't feel like it's good enough to show on my portfolio, then I'm not going to show it to the client.
That's okay. That's probably a really high standard. Like you said, you went dark for like 6 years.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I don't know if that's actually healthy anymore.
It doesn't sound like it. All I can say is, not to make you feel like guilty or anything like that, but can you imagine where your following would be if you did all those posts for those 6 years? I mean, that's a long time, especially in social media. Like, I kick myself all the time. I've been doing this since I was like 15 years old, and I just started really doing it just a couple months ago. Really, just a couple months ago, I was like, oh, I could do something on social media. I didn't know what it was. I still to this day don't really know what it is. Being perfect is a real pain in the ass. If you try to make everything perfect, You're never going to put out anything. You're never going to deliver anything. You're never going to be satisfied with what you create or put out as content or stuff for your clients or anything. So how do you know when it's good enough to stop and post? How do you know when it's good enough to stop and deliver? You have to be really honest with yourself. You have to look at what's worked, what hasn't worked, what's failed, what hasn't failed. You have to learn from those mistakes and make minor adjustments and try to improve upon them. That's really all you can do. Even if it's not perfect, your cat will probably still be cool with it. Right, Darth? What was that? So, just remember, when you're traveling, don't bring your cat, because he'll screw shit up for you. You think he's so cute, and he's just so cute at home, but when it's 2 o'clock and he starts meowing and going crazy, well indeed. Right, Darth? Okay. I'm not at home. I'm in an Airbnb in Portland, in a little room with the dog and the cat. And I'll tell you what, it is hard to record when a cat is pooping in a box right next to you.